Sir, I rise to speak on the 4 Bs. Central GST, GST compensation to states, GST, IGST and UTGST. That was moved by the Honorable Finance Minister. Our Speaker Kalyan Banerjee had earlier supported the bills. I do support them also because our party in our manifesto in 2009 had supported GST. In the GST Council, our Finance Minister, though he fought for many rights of the states, did support the GST, though he was able to bring some modifications. But today I support the bill with a lot of reservations, with a heavy heart. I think that the GST basically is a transgression into the powers of Parliament when we are giving up our taxing powers to a GST Council which does not have a representative character. Also, as far as the states are concerned, they are not empowered. They will have no freedom to decide on the rates at which they choose to tax commodities. If they want to raise the tax, they would have to approach GST Council. With GST and FRBM, the freedom of state governments to pursue divergent economic trajectories will be curtailed. So while we speak of federalism, basically both the center and the states have been curbed in their respective areas a little. Sir, now the GST, it provides for a levy of GST on supply of all goods and services except for alcohol for human consumption. The central government will have the power to impose GST on tobacco in addition to excise duty. Also, for 5 years, the petroleum and petroleum products have been kept out of the GST, though they will be put under GST at some time. Now, why did we support the GST at all in the Interstate Council? Because we considered that it would benefit the country, the people. It would bring down the tax-related inflation, and it will also bring down tax, which is very high in India, roughly 30%. But, sir, if you really see, also GST would remove inefficiencies in supply chain due to savings on transport, warehousing, and inventories. But I must remind you, sir, that while GST may be good, this idea of common market has not appealed to USA, China, and Japan, the 3 big economies of the world. Well, Germany, France, and UK do have GST. But in the European Union, different countries have different rates. And the idea of common market did not apply in Britain, which is why they went for Brexit. So, while it is being hailed as a historic step, I think we should have GST experimentally with reservations, because after European Union, Brexit did happen. We do not know what view the states will take in future. Sir, now it has been said this BJP-like slogan, Ek Desh, Ek Jhanda, ये सब एक देश एक टैक्स, लेकिन एक टैक्स तो हुआ नहीं. There is 0% tax for food. There is 1% tax for gold and jewelry, 5% for vital inputs, 12% and 18% are 2 basic rates. Then there is the higher rate of 28%. we have to see that the state's physical condition do not deteriorate. Sir, here in this parliament, when the last 101st Constitution Amendment Bill said that the center may compensate the states, we fought for making it shall compensate the states. And ultimately, now it has been put that for 5 years, earlier the center was saying up to 5 years. We demanded, and West Bengal demanded in the GST Council, that it must be for 5 years, it has been put. But see, how will the compensation to the states be worked out? At present, cigarettes have have tax up to 65%, luxury cars above 45%, aerated drinks, sugar added 44%, pan masala 50%. After 5 years, this cess will be used for paying compensation to states. After 5 years, the standard tax would be 40%. Now the question is that the revenue expected from these cesses is roughly rupees 55,000 crores. And the center says that environmental cess will be there to the extent of 24,000 crores, which comes to 79,000 crores. It has been estimated that with the revenue of the states falling, the amount might well go to 90,000 crores. Now, where would this extra money come from to compensate the states? That has not been made clear in this thing. It's true that, as I said, we had always felt that small businesses must benefit. So 20 lakhs have been kept as a threshold for registration, and large number of businesses will be out of GST for this purpose. Composition scheme for traders and manufacturers, you don't have to pay VAT. If you are below 50 lakhs, you can pay 0.5%, 1%, and 2%. Above 1. Then if your turnover is above 1.5 crores, below 1.5 crores, 90% is with the state, 10% to the center. Now, as Mr. Moily mentioned, there will be a tough war. Which items will be with the center and which items will be with the state? And then, if it's above 1.5 crores, they say cross-empowerment. The states will get half, the center will get half. Now, one good feature is, share, yes, among the states, yes. The states as a whole, yes. Above 1.5,
please.
This will be 50-50. Below 1.5, it will be 90 for the states, 10 for the center. No, said Mr. Moily is a very respected man. If he makes a comment, I must listen. So, again, IGST, interstate GST is cross-empowerment, and the input tax credit is given there. Now, what do I envisage as the problem in GST? Let me mention clearly, the center seems to be in a hurry. हड़बड़ी में है कि ये उस दिन हमको बोला कि एक दिन में पास कराना है, फिर राज्यसभा में भेजना है, फिर स्टेट्स में भेजना है. ये हड़बड़ी में आप अभी तक till now you have not fixed up the rates. There are almost 4,000 items whose rates have to be fixed. You have fixed the basic rate, 0, 1, 5, 12, 18 and 28. But what about the rate of individual commodities? That you have not fixed up. Now there will be a problem of
even services.
Even services. There will be a problem of fitment. Say one tax rate is 15%. How will it be fitted in 12% or 18%? These basic questions have not been resolved. They have only had 10 meetings of the GST Council. Who will fix this rate, which will be the most contentious issue of all this? The business is totally unprepared. I'll finish in 2 minutes. Totally unprepared for GST. They do not know what tax they will pay because they do not know what rates there will be. Sir, also, I want to mention that some big companies, Imami has fixed PricewaterhouseCoopers. How will to determine the value of this GST? What will the small businesses do? So the biggest problem of this GST is the GSTN, GST network. I had mentioned earlier that the government formed a Section 25 company to run the GST network. It is not yet ready, and as a result of which, they have put Infosys as managed service provider at 1380 crores. Now, whether this GSTN, and it has to operate in 17 languages, whether it will be ready, it will be a world's biggest computer system. And as Mr. Moily correctly pointed out, it will be a technological nightmare. There will be breakdown in the server. All over the country, GST will go.
Conclude.
So, sir, I want the government to be very careful. Government has said that they will train 60,000 officers for this job. For that, at least 6 months will be necessary. You have to train the businessmen in all the states for the job. For that, another 6 months will be necessary. Lastly, sir, I said that, well, a single market is good. But you see the example of Australia, of Malaysia. In them, GST is facing serious problems. So instead, we have delayed 10 years already. So instead of hurrying, let us put the systems in place. No political party in the country has opposed GST on principle. We are worried about the fallouts this will have. And ultimately, last point, sir, prices should not increase. In this year of transition, government must, it has imposed a draconian clause, as Mr. Mahta pointed out,
Please.
171(2). But
धन्यवाद सभापति महोदय, मुझे इस बिल पे बोलने का मौका दिया। आज इस सदन में जीएसटी के 4 बिल टेबल किए गए हैं, जिसका